Hello students, greetings for the day. So today what we are going to see is just the continuation of the previous videos. In the previous videos we have learnt what are rational numbers, how do we represent a rational number on a number line, and some operations are rational numbers, and also finding a rational number between any two given rational numbers. So these are the things we have learnt in the previous classes. So today what we are going to learn is we are going to learn some properties of rational numbers. Properties in the sense, how do rational numbers behave in certain situations, in certain equations, and also solving word problems. Word problems are really important when it comes to your real life situations. You may come across these problems in your day-to-day life, and also I'll be giving you the assignments at the end of the class. Okay, so let's get into the topic. Properties of rational numbers. Properties, first of all, what do you mean by properties? Properties of water. Okay, how do you define a properties? How do you tell the properties of water? Water flows. Water is in liquid state. Water takes the shape of a container. Such things you can mention as properties of water. Same way, rational numbers also has some properties. They perform certain ways in certain equations. So that is what we are going to see now. So the first property we are going to see is closure property. Closure property, what do you mean by closure property? Closure property can be defined as, for any two rational numbers a and b, let's say we have two rational numbers a and b, the two operations a plus b and a multiplication b are also two unique rational numbers. I'll explain to you in a simpler way. You have two rational numbers. Let's say you have a rational number a and you have a rational number b. Okay, what you're going to do is you are going to add these two rational numbers. Let's say your answer for this will be c. This c will also be a rational number. That is what closure property means. Okay, if you have a rational number a and if you have a rational number b, and if you add both the rational numbers, the answer you are getting will also be a rational number. Okay, same goes for multiplication also. You have a rational number a, you have a rational number b, you multiply both the rational numbers, you get a rational number c. This is also rational number. Okay, so hence rational numbers are closed under addition and multiplication. So we are not going to see any property for subtraction or division, because that is not there in your syllabus, but I am letting you to try out the properties, the same properties for addition and subtraction also. What if you have two rational numbers a and b and you are going to subtract it? You get a rational number c. Will this be a rational number or not a rational number, or some other number? I'm letting out for you to try. You can try and check this out on your own. Same goes for division also. Let's take an example. We have a is equal to 3 by 4 and b is equal to negative 1 by 2. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to check a addition b. Okay, and we have we have a addition b, 3 by 4 plus minus 1 by 2. So after adding all this, we get the answer 1 by 4. 1 by 4 is also a rational number. Okay, same way for multiplication, we multiply 3 by 4 and negative 1 by 2, we get minus 3 by 8, which is also a rational number. So hence closure property means, if you add two rational numbers, the answer should also be a rational number. Same way, if you multiply two rational numbers, the answer should also be a rational number. Okay, so let's get to the next property, which is commutative property. Commutative property is much similar like closure property, wherein if you add let's say you have two rational numbers a and b, what you're going to do is, first thing is you are going to add a plus b and you get an answer c. Okay, then you're going to add the reverse form of this, which means b plus a. You're going to put b first and then you have to add a next. The answer you will be getting is also c. These two answers should be equal. That is what commutative property is telling. So see this, for any two rational numbers a and b, your a plus b should be equal to b plus a. Same goes for multiplication also. You are adding a and b, you get an answer c, and then again you are multiplying b and a, you should get c. These two answers should be equal. If you do the operation in the reverse form also, they should be equal. That is what commutative property is telling. So let's prove that with an example. Let's say you have two rational numbers 7 by 8 and 3 minus 7 by 8 and 3 by 5. First what they are doing is they are adding it in the actual form, which is a plus b. Your A is minus 7 by 8 and B is 3 by 5. You know how to add. You have to make the denominator similar by taking LCM. The LCM of 8 and 5 is 40. Hence you have to change the numerators also. Your final answer you are getting is minus 11 by 40. Okay, now you have to add B plus A. This is not C actually, that is A. Okay, so B plus A is 3 by 5, you should put first, and then A minus 7 by 8 you should put next. Then after adding also you are getting minus 11 by 40. For A plus B you are getting minus 11 by 40, and B plus A also you are getting minus 11 by 40. Hence commutative property is satisfied. Okay, if we go for multiplication, first let's take A into B. So we have minus 7 by 8 and 3 by 5. Minus 7 into 3 will give us minus 21. 8 into 5 will give us 40. Hence minus 21 by 40 is our multiplicative answer for A into B. Let's go for B into A. Let's put minus 3 by 5 first and minus 7 by 8 next. So after multiplying also we are getting again minus 21 by 40. Hence A into B is equal to B into A. And this tells us multiplication is commutative. So finally, what do you mean by commutative? If you multiply A and B in both the forms, which means A into B and B into A will give you the same answer. Same goes for addition also. Okay, so let's get to the next property, which is associative property. Associative property is a bit long and it has three variables, which is A, B and C. So now you will have three rational numbers, which is A, B and C, and all these three rational numbers will follow a particular property, that is nothing but A plus B whole plus C. Okay, so listen carefully. A plus B whole plus C can also be written as A plus, sorry, I'll write it again. A plus B whole plus C can also be written as A plus whole B plus C. Okay, so the value for both the sides we should get the same answer. Okay, first time what we are doing, we are adding A and B first. Okay, so I'll do this with an integer. Okay, let's say you have 1, your A is 1, your B is 2 and your C is 3. Okay, so here I'm doing 1 plus 2 plus 3. So 1 plus 2 is 3, and then 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, same goes here. Here I am writing 1 plus 2 plus 3. Okay, 2 plus 3 is what? 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. So both the sides should be similar. Here I have done for integers. Same applies for rational numbers also. We'll see in the next slide that. Okay, so you remember this equation first. A plus B whole plus C is equal to A plus whole of B plus C. Okay, in the first time you are putting whole for A and B, and in this next time you are putting whole for B and C. Okay, this can be written in the reverse way also. Same goes for multiplication. In the first time you are putting multiplication for A and B, and the next time you are putting multiplication for B and C. Okay, let's see with an example. First, let's see for addition. So we are taking three numbers. Your A is minus 1 by 2, B is 3 by 5, and C is minus 7 by 10. Okay, so now we are going to find our right hand side. Okay, right hand side is A plus B whole plus C. Okay, this is what we are going to find first. So first let's find A plus B. Our A is minus 1 by 2 and our B is 3 by 5. So minus 1 by 2 plus 3 by 5 will give us 1 by 10. So we have 1 by 10 now, plus 1 by 10 plus C. What is C value? Minus 7 by 10. 1 by 7 plus minus 7 by 10 will give us minus 3 by 5. So this is our left hand side value, which means the equation on the left hand. Okay, minus 3 by 5 is the answer we are getting. So let's come to right hand side. In the right hand side, what we had A plus whole of B plus C. So here we have to find the B plus C's value first. Okay, so which is B plus C's value? What is B? B is 3 by 5 and C is minus 7 by 10. So let's put 3 by 5 and minus 7 by 10 first, and let's add. We are getting minus 1 by 10. Okay, so minus 1 by 10 sorry, minus 1 by 10. So what is our right hand side equation actually? A plus b plus c. So our a here is minus 1 by 2. So minus 1 by 2 plus minus 1 by 10 will give us minus 3 by 5. So you can see here is also minus 3 by 5, and the right hand side is also minus 3 by 5. Hence both the sides are equal. Okay, so I'm getting back to the equation again. A plus b whole plus c is equal to a plus whole of b plus c. Okay, in the first time you are putting brackets for a plus b, and the next time you are putting brackets for b plus c. Okay, so this is for addition. We'll see for multiplication. Okay, so in the first time you are multiplying a and b, you are getting a value minus 3 by 10. Then you are multiplying this whole value into c. So minus 3 by 10 into 7 by 10 will give us 21 by 100. Okay, so this is our left hand side value. Now we are multiplying b cross c. So our right hand side, what is our right hand side value? A cross whole of b cross c. So b cross c is what we have to find now. So b cross c we are getting minus 21 by 50. Minus 21 by 50 into a. What is a? A is minus 1 by 2. Minus 1 by 2 into minus 21 by 50 will give us 21 by 100. So you can see that the right hand side is also 21 by 100. The left hand side is also 21 by 100. Hence associative property for multiplication is also proved. Okay, so hence multiplication is associative under both addition and multiplication. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. Additive and multiplicative identity. Okay, so the identity, what do you mean by identity? Identity, you might have heard identity card or something. Identity is something which gives a representation to a number. Okay, so here we have additive and multiplicative identity, two separate values which are very important in mathematics. Okay, so first, what do you mean by additive identity? Additive identity is something which when added to a number gives the same number. You all know what number is that. Okay, let's say you have a number 5. You should add some number here so that you get the same number 5 on the right hand side. Okay, what number you will add? What number you will add there? What number you will add? You will add 0 here. Okay, so in the same way you can take any number. Let's say you take 10, you take 100. 100 plus 0 will give you 100 again. Okay, so you can take any number and then you can add 0 to the number, you get the same number. That 0 is called as additive identity. Same goes for multiplication. You have 5, you have to multiply this number with some number so that you get 5 again. What will you do here? You cannot multiply with 0, hence since 5 into 0 will give you 0 again. So what you can do here, you can take 1 here. 5 into 1 will give you 5. Okay, so these are whatever I told so far now is for integers, but what we are going to see here is for rational numbers. Okay, so rational numbers, we can see the example here. We are taking minus 3 by 7 as a rational number. We are adding 0 to that and the answer is minus 3 by 7. Hence 0 is an additive identity. Same goes for multiplicative identity also. We have taken minus 3 by 7 here. We are multiplying this by 1. We get minus 3 by 7 again. Hence 1 is the multiplicative identity. Okay, you might have got cleared with identity as it is a very simple topic. Only thing you need to remember is your additive identity is 0 and multiplicative identity is 1. This is the only thing you have to remember in this topic. Okay, the next thing we'll be doing is additive and multiplicative inverse. Inverse is something which you have learnt in integers already. Inverse is simple. You have a number, let's say 5 again. Okay, you have to add some number here such that the answer is 0. What number you will add? You will add minus 5 here. It's obvious, 5 minus 5 is 0. Let's take any number. You have again you have 9 here. Okay, same way you have to add some number here such that your answer is 0. What number you will add here again? It's obvious, you will add minus 9. So the inverse of any number a is the negative of the same number minus a. This is what you call as additive inverse. Okay, so this negative a is what you call as additive inverse. Same way we can tell multiplicative inverse also. So Multiplicative inverse is something, let's say we have a number a, we have to multiply this with certain number such that we get the multiplicative identity. What is multiplicative identity? Multiplicative identity we have seen in the previous slide is 1. Okay, so what number you will multiply here such that the multiplicative identity will come? You will multiply by 1 by a such that a and a gets cancelled and we will get 1. So this is for integers we have seen so far. For rational numbers, let's say you have a rational number a by b, you have to add certain number here so that you get the additive identity 0. What number you will add? You will add minus a by b. So minus a by b is the additive inverse of a by b. Clear? Minus a by b is the additive inverse of a by b. Same way, you have a rational number a by b, you have to multiply certain number so that you get 1 here. 1 is the multiplicative identity. What number you will add? You will add the reciprocal of a by b. What is reciprocal? Reciprocal is writing numerator in denominator part and denominator in numerator part. A comes down and b goes above. Okay, so a by b into b by a gets cancelled, b gets cancelled, we get 1. Hence b by a is the multiplicative inverse of a by b. Clear? Okay, so now let's get to the next. Let's see some examples in this. Okay, so we have minus 11 by 23. We have to write additive inverse of minus 11 by 23. So let's write a. Okay, we have to check whether negative a is the multiplicative additive inverse or not. How do you check whether negative a is additive inverse or not? If you add a rational number and its additive inverse, the answer what you should get is 0. Okay, so we are taking minus 11 by 23 and you are taking negative of a, negative of negative 11 by 23, which will give you minus into minus will give you plus, which will give you positive 11 by 23. Okay, so negative 11 by 23 plus minus a is positive 11 by 23. So negative 11 plus positive 11 will give you 0. Okay, hence minus a is an additive inverse of positive a. It is proved here. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. So we'll come here for multiplicative inverse. We have a rational number minus 17 by 29. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to take reciprocal of minus 17 by 29, which is minus 29 by 17. We are going to multiply this, which is the actual number, minus 17 by 29. Here 17 gets cancelled, 29 gets cancelled, minus and minus becomes plus, and hence your answer is 1. Hence if you multiply a rational number with its multiplicative inverse, the answer you get is multiplicative identity. I hope you guys are clear with this so far. Multiplicative identity means you have to multiply the given rational number with its multiplicative inverse. What do you mean by multiplicative inverse? It's nothing but the reciprocal of the given rational number. That's it. Okay, well, we'll get to the next topic, which is distributive property. Distributive is nothing. What do you mean by distribution in general? In general, distribution means you have to distribute the number, you have to distribute something what you have to each and every person. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are going to distribute the numbers to other numbers. Okay, let's see the equation. The equation we have here is a into b plus c. So listen carefully. Distributive property contains 3 variables a, b and c. Here we are going to distribute this a to b and also to c. Okay, how can we write this? We can write a into b plus a into c. Okay, I'll write in a better form, a into b plus c, which will give you, first we'll write a into b, then we'll put the positive sign, then we'll distribute a into c. This is how you distribute a inside the bracket. Okay, you multiply a and b first and then you multiply a and c first. Okay, so both the sides the answer will be equal. That is what distributive property tells. A into b plus c will be equal to a into b plus a into c. So let's prove this by taking an example. Let's take a minus 7 by 9, B 11 by 18, and C minus 14 by 27. Okay, so what we are finding here, we are finding what is the left side value. Left side value is A into B plus C. Okay, B plus C. What is, let's find B plus C value first. Our B value is 11 by 18, our C value is minus 14 by 27. So 11 by 18 plus minus 14 by 27 will give us 5 by 54 after taking LCM and all. Okay, so in A cross B plus C, we have found B plus C's value. Next we have to multiply this B plus C value into A. Okay, so 5 by 54 into A is 7 by 9, minus 7 by 9, sorry. So 5 by 54 into minus 7 by 9 will give us minus 35 by 486. Okay, so now we have proved our left hand side part. So let's go to the right hand side. What does the right hand side contain? A into B plus A into C. Okay, so let's find individual A into B and individual A into C. A into B, minus 7 by 9 into 11 by 18 will give us minus 77 by, I have written 9 as 9 itself, and I have written 18 as 9 into 2. 9 into 2 is 18, obvious. Same way A into C, minus 7 by 9 and minus 14 by 27. Same way 9 I have written as 9 itself, and 27 I have written as 9 into 3. Okay, so that it gets cancelled easily in the later on. So now we have found A into B and A into C. Okay, so now what we are going to do is, what does our left hand side is telling? A into B plus A into C. So we have to add both the values which we got. So what we are doing here, we are adding both the values here. After getting cancelling everything, we are end up getting minus 35 by 456, minus 35 by 456, which is what we got for the right hand side or left hand side also. Okay, so hence it is proved that A cross, sorry, A plus B cross, sorry again, A cross B plus C is equal to A cross B plus A cross C. Okay, hence it is proved that in rational numbers follow distributive property. Since we have proved that both the sides the answers are equal. Okay, so let's get into the next property. So okay, that's all the properties we have learned. What are the properties we have learned so far? We have learned closure property. Closure property is nothing but when you add two rational numbers, the answer is also rational number. Same goes for multiplication also. And also we have learnt associative property. Associative properties, the reverse form is also possible. Then we have learned additive identity, distributive additive identity, multiplicative identity. Then also we have learned additive inverse and multiplicative inverse. And we have learned three important properties, which are commutative property, associative property, and distributive property. Okay, so let's get into the next topic, which is solving word problems. Okay, so what are word problems? Word problems are something which has a very big and very long question, which has certain real life situations or certain data in the given question. It's not like solve this plus this number. Such kind of question you will not get. You will be given a situation wherein you have to extract the data and then you have to find the answer. Okay, so let's get into how to solve this problem first. So there are certain steps to solve this problem. As I said, there are certain steps to solve a word problem. The first step is to read the given problem carefully. Okay, so you have to read the given question and analyze what are the data given in the question. Okay, so you should be very careful in reading the question. You can misinterpret the question sometimes. So for that, you should be really very careful in reading the question. So the next step is write down the given data. How do you write down the given data? You have to write what is given in the question, what are the data given in the question, and what you have to find from the question. That is what you have to do in the next step. Okay, simply reading the question will not give you enough data. You have to analyze the question. And third step is you have to use respective properties and solve. We have learned so many properties and operations. You have to find out which property will suit for this problem. Okay, which property or which operation will suit for this problem. And the fourth step is verification. Simply solving won't help you. You have to verify the answer also. You have to verify whether the answer is correct or not. How do you verify the answer? You have to put that answer back in the question itself so that the equation becomes correct. Okay, so these are the four steps. First, reading the problem carefully. Next, writing down the given data. Third, using certain properties and solving the problem. Fourth, verification. Okay, so let's get to the question first. So the first question is, the sum of two rational numbers is 4 by 5. Okay, so you have two rational numbers and the sum of those two rational numbers is 4 by 5. If one number is 2 by 15, find the other. Okay, so what they are telling in the question, they have two rational numbers in the question. One is 2 by 15 and the other number is we don't know, but the sum of these two rational numbers, but the sum of these two, the number 2 by 15 and the other value which we don't know, is equal to 4 by 5. So we know the final answer. What we don't know is what number should come here. Okay, so what we have to do for that, we have to take this unknown number as x. Okay, so we have to find the value x now. So let's see, 2 by 15 plus x will give us 4 by 5. So what we are going to do now, we have to take this 2 by 15 to that side. This positive 2 by 15 goes that side and becomes negative 2 by 15. We all know, if 1 minus 2 is equal to x is there, means if you want to take this 1 to that side, this minus 2 is equal to x. This is positive 1, this goes that side and becomes negative 1. Okay, same thing is applied here. This positive 2 by 15 goes that side and becomes negative 2 by 15, and after solving we get 10 by 15. 10 by 15 can be cancelled as 2 by 3. So 2 by 3 is our final answer. How do we know that 2 by 3 is the correct answer? So we have to substitute this 2 by 3 in the place of x. Okay, so 2 by 3 plus 2 by 15 will give us 12 by 15, which is equal to 4 by 5. 4 by 5 is what? 4 by 5 is nothing but the given question itself. 4 by 5 is there in the given question itself. We have to verify that. Verification is also equally important in this part. Okay, so let's get to the next question. In the NEET exam, out of total 180 questions, Jayant answered 19 by 30th of the questions correctly and 5 by 18th of the questions incorrectly. How many questions did Jayant not attend at all? Okay, so let's analyze the question first. So there is a NEET exam and a guy named Jayant is writing a NEET exam. Okay, so there are 180 questions in the NEET exam. How many questions? 180 questions. Out of this 180 questions, Jayant is answering 19 by 30th of 180 questions. He is answering 19 by 30th of 180 questions correctly, which means this part of the questions which he has attended is correct. Okay, and the same way he has attended 5 by 18th of the question of 180 questions incorrectly. So all the 5 by 18th part of 180 questions becomes incorrect. Okay, so what we have to find is how many questions he did not attend. To find the number of questions he did not attend, you have to find how many questions he attended first. Okay, so off in the sense, so remember this, whenever you get a number, a word off in mathematics, it is actually multiplication. Okay, so in the first part, 19 by 30th of the number of questions. What are the number of questions? Number of questions is 180. So 19 by 30 into 180, because of means multiplication. Okay, so 19 by 30 will give us 114. So he has attended 114 questions correctly. Okay, same way 5 by 18th of 180 questions he has attended incorrectly. 5 by 18th of 180 will give us 50. So he has attended 50 questions incorrectly. Okay, so he has attended 114 questions correctly, and then he has attended 50 questions incorrectly, which gives us 164. So the number of questions he has attended is 164. So the total number of questions is 180. How many questions he did not attend? 180 minus 164 will give us 16. So 16 questions he did not even attend. Okay, so this is how you have to find the final answer for this question. And after finding the answer, you can put it in the question back and check whether it's in question answer 16 is correct or not. Okay, so as I said before, solving word problems, the steps are really important. You have to write the steps step by step, and you have to highlight the final answer so that you get perfect marks for the question. So the next slide I'll be showing certain questions for assignments. You can pause the screen and take a screenshot of it, and you can fill it out and submit it in your class group or whatever the instructions given. Okay, so I'll be keeping the slide live for around 25 seconds. You can pause, or you can copy the questions from the slide itself. Okay, so there will be 5 questions for assignment. In this page there will be 3 questions. You can pause or take a screenshot now.